This is CBC Nova Scotia News.
Tonight, ordered out. The owner of a 29-unit rooming house tells tenants to vacate by September.
Heartfelt thank you. Students in Shelburne honor Nova Scotia firefighters with an art display. And
I'm Paul Withers outside Bridgewater with the latest on efforts to save one of Canada's most endangered species. I'll have that story coming up.
Showers and a risk of a rumble of thunder this evening. Back to some sun and cloud for Friday with a few isolated showers on tap. The full forecast details are coming up.
good evening. We begin with some major breaking news tonight. The jury in the Donald Trump hush money trial has reached a verdict.
The verdict comes after 2 days of deliberations. We'll have more on this developing story coming up later in the show.
The tenants of a 29-unit rooming house on North Street in Halifax have been told to vacate by September after the landlords gave notice they're emptying the building.
A legal aid group is calling this a renoviction and is concerned it's not being done in good faith, while the landlords say they're following the rules to a T. Nicholas Sagan reports.
Harris Romke has been renting a room here for 27 years. He calls it home, but not for long.
It's terrifying. It's like being told to jump off a ship in the middle of the ocean where there's nowhere to go.
More than 30 tenants got this letter in April saying they have to move out by September 1st, and none of the current leases would continue. The tenants on periodic leases were given forms asking them to end their tenancy for renovations. Most had already been switched to fixed-term leases and were told they wouldn't be renewed at the end of their term. This coming less than 2 years after CBC reported the owners of the building tried to raise the rent by 30%, despite the 2% rent cap at the time. Staff at Dalhousie Legal Aid say this is a renoviction and worry it's just another case of trying to get around the rules.
This isn't the Wild West. You can't just serve eviction notices and tell people to get out. There are a lot of processes that we need to follow with this.
But the landlords say they are following the rules. In a statement, they said they've spent 18 months reaching out to housing organizations and the government, looking for support for the tenants at the property and funding to maintain it. But they say to get support, they'd have to be a nonprofit. Bloom has been canvassing the building and helping tenants learn about their rights, telling some they may be entitled to compensation.
We hear the same thing over and over again. It's people in really difficult situations, some people who have just gotten into housing after being on the street or in the shelter system, and now they're staring down the barrel of going back into that.
The province says they're aware of the situation and want to help.
We want more permanent style housing for them, so we're looking to see what's available from whether it's a rent supplement or if it's finding an apartment. It may not necessarily be on North Street, but we're looking for a place for them to live.
McGuire says he doesn't know what will be offered to each tenant yet, but he hopes to provide support to each person who will be packing their bags come September. Nicholas Sagan, CBC News, Halifax.
A recent accident in New Ross involving an all-terrain vehicle that killed an infant girl is once again raising questions about safety and regulations around ATVs. Barry Burnett of the All-Terrain Vehicle Association of Nova Scotia agrees with those who think there should be specific rules concerning infants.
In a side-by-side ATV, they're certainly not designed for a car seat. Many of them are just simply two seats, two regular human full-size seats. Some of them have additional seats in the back, but I think it's something that government could take a look at to see, what or how they can strengthen some of the regulations around that side.
I'll talk to Barry Burnett about ATV safety following this accident and what kinds of changes might be needed to the legislation. That's our Newsmaker interview just after 6:30.
Students at the high school in Shelburne are getting ready to unveil a special tribute to firefighters who fought the wildfires last year. They're doing it to show the community is grateful to everyone who helped out when the fire spread. As Gareth Hampshire tells us, their project will be placed at a park in the town.
These are the hearts students at Shelburne Regional High School are making to honor firefighters. They're making 64 to recognize every fire department that responded, and a big one for all other volunteers.
if they didn't help us in the fires would have taken over our town because they stopped it from getting to the town.
After cutting them out, the students are sanding down the hearts for a smooth finish.
It's going to feel great knowing that I helped with it and remembering that I put in my work along with everybody else here.
They're working under the guidance of tech ed teacher Les Goulden, who had to evacuate from his home for a few days during the fire.
They're learning to use machine tools that they will find in most industrial shops in this province. So whether they worked in a mill workshop or if they want to get into a trade that involves carpentry or fine finish or anything like that, they will find most of these tools in those trades.
The project is a personal one for one of the students. Brogan Nickerson had to leave his Ingomar home because it was so close to the flames. His dad was also one of the volunteer firefighters.
I didn't see him for like weeks, and he was like days on end, and it was really he said it was really stressful for him, and he always came back with like ash all over him.
He's been telling his dad about the project.
I love you, Dad, and I'm doing this for you.
The students are bringing to life the vision of this local resident, and this is the park where the installation will go.
I just wanted to say thanks to them and to have a tribute to them. And I thought, well, working with the students would be a wonderful idea. And the ideas of hearts came to my mind.
The tribute has caught the attention of the Shelburne volunteer fire chief. Firefighters are still not used to being in the spotlight, he says, but appreciate the project the school, town, municipality and local businesses are supporting.
It's very humbling to see the amount of effort that folks are putting forward to recognize the fire service.
Back in the class, the students are grateful to be a part of it too.
It's good that everybody in the future can see it, and it represents a part of our town history.
The hearts will be unveiled on June the 1st. Gareth Hampshire, CBC News, Shelburne.
Some of the firefighters who fought the wildfires in Upper Tantallon and Hammonds Plains last year were back in the community last night for a special tree planting event. Volunteer firefighters donated and planted a gold maple in a park that was badly hit by the wildfire. A red maple was also donated by a wildfire specialist from Halifax Fire. Have a look.
Key thing is planting a tree here in the park is giving us the ability to show that everybody here has shown a lot of resilience. The tree is a symbol of regrowth and a new beginning, starting things over again. Just don't bury me.
So back a month ago, I won an award for Women in Wildfire Resiliency from British Columbia. And with that, I was given $1,000 towards a community project in wildfire resiliency. And I decided to donate the money to Highland Park because they were the most hit by the wildfire. And they were taking action to do Fire Smart here in the community.
Thank you again to MLA.
We've been back for a little while now after the fire. We've rebuilt and we've moved back, and it's just to reconnect with neighbors and to see people that you haven't seen in a while. We're dispersed all over Nova Scotia at the moment. So just to get together and kind of rekindle that sense of community, it feels like a bookend to what was started a year ago.
I love it. I think it's great that, a lot of the communities here along Hammonds Plains, Upper Tantallon, are really bouncing back, with rebuilding Fire Smart and looking at what they can do in their community to make the forest more resilient and to be able to coexist with fire because it's going to be the future. We're going to have a lot more fires coming down the road.
The biggest thing is we've learned from what's happened. Hopefully we've got a lot of lessons learned that we can take forward and hopefully do things a lot differently next time.
We've lost so many trees, more than can be counted. So just to have these two symbolic ones as something that's new growth and something that's planted and being built and being, it represents everything that we're trying to grow back that we've lost. And it's just something natural that we can all look to. It's very inspirational.
All right, well, pretty nice day in Nova Scotia, certainly in Halifax today, but some rain rolling through right now.
And obviously still much needed, right, Ryan?
Yeah, definitely. And some areas need it more than others. And hopefully a nice drink even for those that kind of didn't see much the last time around, talking about the valley in particular, eastern areas of the valley. Let's have a live look right now, the roundabout just outside the studios here. And you can see those raindrops coming down and not too many puddles on the roads, but certainly these showers enough to dampen things up. And we have some showers starting now to edge into the Kentville area. That spot only got 3 millimeters earlier this week. So that's one spot, really hoping that we'll get some of those showers just edging in there over the next little bit. This is the low that is spinning just to our south. And again, we're just on the northern edge of that. So getting clipped by it right now. Area of high pressure will move in. We'll see this low kind of spinning off to our east over the next couple of days, wrapping in some northerly winds, so keeping things a little bit cooler, and also just some chances for some showers. So let's walk you through the timeline. There goes that low to the east. Note by Friday morning, pretty much done with the showers. Clouds, a mix of sun and cloud throughout the day on Friday. And again, with that northerly flow, just some enough unsettled atmospheric going on. The atmosphere just a little unsettled, enough to spark up isolated chances tomorrow. Primarily central and eastern areas, that's going to be our greatest chance, but even that, it is 30% or so risk of seeing some of those showers. Now, similar story for Saturday. That low's off to the east, northerly flow, and so we are going to be seeing those shower chances off and on Saturday. And then for Sunday, high pressure moving in a little bit further, but that low is still just looming off to the east. It looks like it is going to back its way in with some shower chances, most notably for Cape Breton on Sunday afternoon, more so into Sunday evening. Then that entire low backs in with a greater risk of showers from Monday. So we'll walk you through it with your full 7-day forecast coming up, but it does look like a little mix of everything over the next few days, including some all-important sunshine.
You bet. Okay, thanks so much, Ryan.
Thank you.
Tiny transmitters will be implanted inside 120 captive raised Atlantic whitefish this year as part of a recovery plan to save the critically endangered wild population. The tagged fish will be released in the Petite Riviere watershed near Bridgewater to locate spawning areas and to see if the fish have retained the natural instinct to go to the ocean. Paul Withers explains.
3 landlocked lakes behind Bridgewater are the only place on Earth where this ancient relative of Atlantic salmon survives in the wild. No wild adults have been seen here for 2 years. Whenever newly hatched are found, they are taken to this streamside rearing facility to recover and feed. When this fish is described as critically endangered, that's no exaggeration. The most recent genetic analysis predicts just 13 breeding females survive in the wild, and today that number could be lower.
The antenna that's down there at the bottom of the...
Jeremy Broom is part of a recovery team trying to save the whitefish.
We've had 6 larval Atlantic whitefish that have been captured this year. That's
None last year.
None last year. So slight improvement. Interestingly, from 2 different locations. So that indicates to me that we have spawning happening at least 2 different spawning pockets, or potentially with multiple females, which is also, if we can take an encouraging sign from it, that's an encouraging sign.
The situation has worsened in recent years. Invasive predators, chained pickerel and smallmouth bass are established in 2 of the lakes. After a period of reconditioning, all juvenile whitefish are taken to Dalhousie University, where a captive breeding program is underway. It has produced hundreds of fish.
These tags have a small battery in them, and
some are now large enough to be implanted with these signal-emitting tags and returned to the watershed, where 50 acoustic sensors are now in place.
Each receiver will tell us which whitefish has been detected at each of those stations, and we can reconstruct the movement paths in the fall and through the winter to actually identify how they've moved within the system and whether or not they've moved between lake and river or ocean and river.
We still don't know where they spawn or what spawning substrates they prefer, so that's another big question mark we're hoping to address with this work.
The tagging is one of 2 projects supported by the Canada Nature Fund. The other uses environmental DNA sampling to detect the presence of predators and whitefish.
You think about extinction risk as being something that is far away and happening out of sight, but to have a species like this right here in Nova Scotia that is potentially on the brink of extinction, about which very little is known, is pretty incredible. So the only way to really observe a species under the water, where it's very difficult to see and very difficult to track, especially for a species that's not very common, you need to use these electronic tags.
Dozens more whitefish without tags are now being released into the watershed in the hopes they will spawn. The recovery plan also includes finding a watershed elsewhere in Nova Scotia free of invasive species. That place has not yet been selected. In the meantime, the Atlantic whitefish remains a species on the edge. Paul Withers, CBC News, Bridgewater.
And we want to bring you some breaking news out of the United States. Former U.S. President Donald Trump has been found guilty on all 34 counts. The jury's verdict has just been read out in court. Trump was facing 34 charges of falsifying business documents in the so-called hush money trial. It was in relation to a payment to Stormy Daniels ahead of the 2016 presidential election. Again, U.S. President Donald Trump guilty on all 34 counts. Well, a group of mothers who lost children to suicide say they were blocked from trying to get help for their loved ones and get the care they needed. Parents say it should be easier for health professionals to contact a patient's family without their consent, but the province says the rules already allow for that. Josh Hoffman reports.
And they basically didn't help me at all.
Every time Nancy Saunders tried to help her son, she says she was met with barriers. When she thought her son, Ben Brennan, was struggling, she tried getting him an appointment by calling the provincial intake line. When she felt his medication wasn't working, she tried to contact their family doctor. Ben took his own life last year. He was 29.
There was no attempt to give me useful information. There was only barriers to that and also barriers to me providing information.
Saunders is one of several mothers who told CBC News they feel like they couldn't get their children the help they needed before they lost them to suicide.
In the course of several years, we were there 50 times. Lots of times begging them to keep him overnight, which they wouldn't because he never met the criteria.
Laureen Rushton says it was a frustrating process trying to find the proper treatment for her son Lucas. He died in 2021 at the age of 18. Kelly Mae Mitchell said in hindsight, she would have done everything differently when trying to make sure her daughter, Aiden, was getting better. But she said they didn't know better because no one told them how the treatment was going. Aiden died in 2019. She was 14.
If we were kept in the loop, we would have had that. We wouldn't have been second guessing ourselves all the time. Are we doing this right? Are we not doing it right?
Nova Scotia Health says they do everything they can to involve a family in a child's treatment and care. However, it's different for patients 18 and older. Their information is kept confidential under Nova Scotia's Personal Health Information Act. But the legislation does allow health professionals to contact anyone without a patient's consent if they feel the patient is at risk of harming themselves or someone else.
Right from the very beginning, we talk about the importance of family and support network, and the patient has the opportunity to identify that. And along their journey, we would include that family or circle of support as the patient chooses to. And there are also situations where if the clinical assessment is completed and the patient's risk is imminent of danger to themselves or others, that a healthcare provider can share information with family without the patient's consent.
The group of mothers who lost children to suicide are wondering why no one contacted them. One of many questions they don't know if they'll ever get the answers for. Josh Hoffman, CBC News, Halifax.
Starting next week, some Nova Scotians will be able to apply for funding to cover the cost of sensor-based glucose monitoring supplies used in the management of diabetes. Nova Scotians with type 1 or type 2 diabetes who meet specific criteria can apply to the sensor-based glucose monitoring program. The program is income-based with no deductible for people with an annual household income less than $60,000, while those with a household income between $60,000 and $150,000 will pay a deductible between $500 and $1,000.
Some promising news about peanut allergies. A new study finds that if parents introduce peanuts to babies, it can keep them from developing an allergy. As the CBC's Quabino Duro reports, oral immunotherapy works for most infants, but for some it can be dangerous, which was the case for one Nova Scotia family.
When Asher was 4 months old, his mother tried to feed him peanut butter.
It was a very, very scary, serious incident that had happened.
Within 30 seconds of being exposed, he had hives all over him, swollen lips, and respiratory distress. A call to 911 and a dose of epinephrine saved his life.
I just wanted to run out in the middle of the street and just scream. I was so scared. Being 4 months old, he couldn't talk, and I knew that he was finding it hard to breathe at that time.
But doctors say cases like his are the exception. And for most kids, introducing peanuts at an early age is the right approach.
Frequent exposure to peanut early in life was really persistent and effective, and really saved many of these children who were at high risk of having peanut allergy from having that lifelong disease.
A recent study by the National Institutes of Health in the U.S. found feeding peanut products to children regularly between infancy and the age of 5 helped reduce peanut allergies in adults by 71%.
I can't say that the rule of early introduction will work for 100%, but it works for the majority of children.
Advocacy group Allergies Quebec lists 9 foods, including eggs and dairy, that make up 90% of food allergies for school-age children. It wants to see more education for staff in schools.
Instead of banning a couple foods, we need them to start by training all the staff and giving them some tools to learn about how to prevent reaction and how to manage food allergies.
Pediatricians say it starts at home, and the best approach is to introduce peanuts in small doses, known as oral immunotherapy. That's what Finnemore is giving Asher now. And she urges parents to do research, have medicine close by, and keep a close watch for at least an hour after introducing the food. Cubino Duro, CBC News, Montreal.
Well, the Fortress of Louisbourg has been reconstructed once before as a tourist site.
But now it's been rebuilt using plastic blocks. Lego bricks, to be exact. What's known as Louis Brick has arrived at the National Historic Site in Cape Breton.
The 20-foot-long model was created by a team of master Lego builders from Quebec. They've spent countless hours building the 18th century town and researching to ensure historical accuracy.
Started collecting materials, and around 2020 started to actually build the project. So it's been basically 4 years in the making. Started off as a smaller display of a couple of blocks and has just grown over time. Eventually they added 3 more members of the team. So this is the sort of several years work basically on the part of 5 individuals that are just passionate about Lego and history.
Louis Brick is made up of 500,000 plastic pieces. It features 90 buildings, 150 cannons, and 600 townspeople.
The Lego project includes buildings not featured at the National Historic Site, but ones that were part of the original town. Louis Brick can be viewed at the Fortress from now until early October. An impressive display.
It's a lot of Lego
New
pieces.
Way of seeing the fort, for sure. First quick break on the way. Stay with us.
Yes, there's a lot more to come on CBC Nova Scotia News. 14 pro-democracy activists in Hong Kong have been convicted of subversion in the biggest national security case ever.
New guidelines. People should be able to get a mammogram starting at age 40, but it shouldn't be routinely offered to women under 50 who are of average risk.
There's a look at Perot Creek. Ryan is up next with his forecast. We're back after this.
All right, back to talk weather now with Ryan on a day that has sort of seen both ends of the spectrum. Beautiful sunny at one
Yes.
point, some showers rolling through now.
So a good mix of things, right?
Yeah, definitely. And anybody with evening plans, perhaps, shaking their fist at the clouds. But yeah, listen, we thought those showers would move through. They're a little beefier than was forecast, but definitely much needed. And I think there'll be more people welcoming them than not. Have a look at this shot from Grand Prairie, and you can see on the webcam the showers, little bursts of showers moving through there off in the distance towards the center right of your screen. Temperatures there in Grand Prairie with that grass that you can see is looking a little damp there now, 16 degrees. And as we look at the burn ban, again, this is the area that needs the shower activity, the valley and into the Northumberland Shore region, Colchester, Cumberland, and the Northumberland Shore. Now, unfortunately, western areas of the valley kind of on the outside with this one, though those showers starting to fill in a little bit more, but certainly not as substantial as the activity we're seeing here moving up through the metro area, Lunenburg County and up towards the eastern shore. These showers are lighter, but this will kind of fill in tonight because it drags all the way back, this little area behind the low, all the way back towards Cape Cod. And so this will skirt in and across the province tonight, bringing, yes, some much needed showers across the continent. And you can see northerly winds on the backside of this frontal boundary, which rolls all the way down towards the Texas area with some severe weather today, and the warm up ahead of it. And you can see that cool pocket here and another cool pocket moving in on the backside of this low, which will be influencing us, but temps won't be too bad. Certainly onshore winds will feel cooler. Temperatures tonight, 9-10 degrees with those showers moving through. And you can see there's the first round that's moving through now. And there's that little wave I was talking about over Cape Cod on the backside of this low, which will continue to bring shower chances at least overnight tonight. Into tomorrow, a mix of sun and cloud, and again, those spotty showers that are going to be in the mix for tomorrow. And those temperatures will be variable tomorrow with that northerly wind, just 12-13 degrees for northern parts of Cape Breton, 15 to 16 degrees as we work our way inland, and even some 18s down towards places like Sherbrooke. It'll be a variable day along the Northumberland shore in terms of your proximity to the water. Getting further to the south, temperatures will creep up into the high teens, including for the Halifax area. Best chance for 20 tomorrow will be down through Bridgewater and down towards Shelburne County and Queens County. Again, northerly flow here with temperatures cooler and onshore winds in places like Digby and Yarmouth as well. Saturday, high teens for the west and edging into the Halifax area, but that northerly flow is going to keep temperatures cooler here. 12, 13, 14 degrees Northumberland Shore and Cape Breton. Again, some isolated shower chances on Saturday. It's far from a washout. Sunday, looks like temperatures will be a little milder, especially in the west, creeping up into the high teens and a few low 20s. Looks like Cape Breton, though, with that kind of dominant northerly flow, will be cooler on Sunday. No question about it. There are those isolated shower chances Saturday, spinning around the backside of this low. And then for Sunday, this ridge comes right in, but so does this low, and it's moving in over Newfoundland and then backing its way, it appears, into Cape Breton throughout the afternoon on Sunday. We'll be watching the timing of this, but it does look like it's going to hold off from the mainland until Sunday night and into Monday. So overall, not a bad weekend. Again, couple of shower chances on Saturday. Sunday, mostly dry, as we said, watching Cape Breton. Shower chances Monday into Tuesday, but temperatures riding the seasonal mark right through the next 7 days. Tom and Amy.
We are seasonal. Okay, thanks so much, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan.
Up next, I'll talk with Barry Burnett of the All-Terrain Vehicle Association of Nova Scotia about possible rules around infants on ATVs. That is our Newsmaker interview.
Please stay with us. You're watching CBC Nova Scotia News.
An infant girl was killed and 3 others were hurt when a side-by-side rolled over just outside New Ross. The accident has once again raised concerns about safety and regulations around ATV use. Barry Barnett is the Executive Director of the All-Terrain Vehicle Association of Nova Scotia. Mr. Barnett, such a tragic accident this week. Our condolences, of course, to the family. An unusual accident, given that an infant was involved. Can you talk to us a little bit about the rules around infants on ATVs?
Well, specifically, I think this case, from what I understand, is it's a side-by-side ATV, and I don't believe the regulations actually even contemplate the age of a passenger. Essentially, if you're 6 years old, you can ride an ATV on private property. If you're riding off of private property, you have to have an ATV safety training course. You have to have third-party liability insurance. You have to have a registered and insured machine, and follow the rules essentially.
Do you think that there should be more specific rules around infants on ATVs?
Well, yes, probably. I don't know how you could actually do this, honestly. Particularly a traditional ATV, there would be no real opportunity to fasten any kind of car seat. In a side-by-side ATV, they're certainly not designed for a car seat. Many of them are just simply 2 seats, 2 regular human full-size seats. Some of them have additional seats in the back. But I think it's something that government could take a look at to see, what or how they can strengthen some of the regulations around that side.
I suppose it's one thing to have rules, it's also something else to have enforcement. Do we have suitable enforcement in this province?
Well, we've been talking to government for many years. We meet biannually with the enforcement folks at Department of Natural Resources. We have been asking for greater enforcement. Right now, there are a dozen or so OHV enforcement officers for the entire province of Nova Scotia. We don't think that's enough. Since I've become executive director for AdFans, the number of machines have doubled. There's nearly 50,000 ATVs in Nova Scotia, and we believe the laws are pretty good. They just simply need to be enforced, and there needs to be greater public awareness around the laws. We have spent a significant amount of our own resources, time, effort, and energy educating the population about safe, responsible use of ATVs. We provide what we call our respect document to every new member when they join. We have printed literally tens of thousands of handouts about ATV safety and responsible use of an ATV. But we haven't seen a lot of support from the province. And one of the things that we have asked them repeatedly is to come up with a plan to do a better public education campaign to help people understand the rules around ATV riding and the etiquette as well. So
I want to ask you about the enforcement there again, just for a moment. What does that enforcement look like? You say there are 12 people that are doing this work. Are they dedicated to this, or do they have other jobs to do?
Tom, not exclusively dedicated to ATV enforcement. In fact, when the OHV Act was renewed based on the recommendations that came out of a voluntary planning task force, one of the recommendations they made at the time was to have a dedicated OHV task force. They worked towards that. In fact, they had it for a few years. A government came along, did a government change, and they actually eliminated the dedicated force. These folks that are out there right now, although they focus on ATVs, they can provide enforcement for hunting and fishing and a whole host of things that Department of Natural Resources is responsible for.
I'm also wondering what more can be done to clamp down on alcohol consumption by some of those who are driving ATVs.
Well, that's pretty easy. You go out and you do roadside checks and you issue fines and you confiscate machines.
Is that happening on a regular enough basis, do you think?
We don't think so, no. We do know that it has happened and it is happening, but not necessarily a regular basis. I I believe the consumption of alcohol and ATVs is significantly lower than it was 2 decades ago. But I'm not naive enough to say that it doesn't happen.
Okay, just quickly before I let you go, the RCMP is warning that there's this combination of injuries and deaths that are up in recent months in Nova Scotia. Does that point to a larger problem in your mind, do you think, or do you agree with that assessment?
Well, I don't know where they're getting their information from. I will say this, that it does make sense that they be up because the number of machines have increased drastically over the past 3 to 4 years. So there's now, like I said, about 50,000 registered ATVs in the province of Nova Scotia. When I first started, there was about 25,000. The last 4 years or so since COVID, the numbers of machines have drastically increased. So therefore, it would lead one to believe that naturally there'd be more machines and there'd be more injuries and collisions. I do think, though, that enforcement will actually help to reduce that. I also think taking the mandatory safety course will help you avoid getting into collisions and ride a safer experience. We have now somewhere around 20 licensed, approved safety trainers in the province of Nova Scotia. They're conducting courses nearly every weekend, I believe every weekend of the year. And there are opportunities for people to simply, go to our website at advance.org, click on safety, and you'll be able to see the list of safety instructors across the province.
All right. All right, Barry Burnett, we will leave it there. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Tom, for your interest.
Coming up, a material called mass timber could be an eco-friendly and cheaper way to tackle the housing crisis.
And back to our top story now. A jury has found Donald Trump guilty on all 34 counts of falsifying business records at his hush money trial in New York.
Trump has become the first former U.S. president to be convicted of felony crimes.
At the center of the charges were reimbursements paid to Trump's former lawyer, Michael Cohen, to bury alleged stories about damaging sex scandals during his 2016 presidential campaign.
The jury has been considering evidence and testimony over the past 5 weeks in the first criminal trial ever of a U.S. president. Trump is expected to appeal the charges.
Trump called the verdict a disgrace as he lashed out from outside the courtroom shortly after it was read.
This was a rigged, disgraceful trial. The real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people. And they know what happened here, and everybody knows what happened here. You have a sore respect, DA, and the whole thing. We didn't do a thing wrong. I'm a very innocent man.
A Hong Kong court has found 14 pro-democracy activists guilty of subversion. Among those convicted are former lawmakers and ordinary citizens who joined the mass demonstrations 5 years ago. Human rights groups in the West have denounced the verdict as politically motivated. Laura Westbrook has more.
This landmark national security trial involves 47 of the city's most prominent pro-democracy figures. 31, including famous faces like Joshua Wong, had pled guilty to the charge of conspiracy to commit subversion, a very serious charge under the Beijing-imposed national security law, which is punishable by up to life in prison. Of the 16 that had maintained their innocence, the 3 High Court judges acquitted only 2, and the prosecution has said it intends to appeal those 2 acquittals. Now, crowds gathered here since early this morning to witness the verdict in this landmark security trial. Now, it centers around this unofficial primary that took place in July of 2020 with the aim of picking candidates for an election that year. The prosecution argued that the aim of gaining a majority in the legislature to block government votes and force then leader Carrie Lam to resign was a plot to overthrow the government. And in the ruling today, the court said that that scheme would have created political instability and a constitutional crisis. Experts have said this trial was a test of the city's rule of law, and human rights groups have criticized the verdict. Beijing imposed the national security law in the wake of the city's massive anti-government protests in 2019. Its supporters, Beijing, and the Hong Kong government has said that it was necessary to restore order and stability in Hong Kong. Laura Westbrook for CBC News, Hong Kong.
Some members of Parliament testified before the House of Commons Procedure and House Affairs Committee. It's part of a review of Parliament's workplace harassment and violence prevention policy. The committee heard detailed accounts of politicians being subjected to abuse. Rafi Boudjikanian has more.
It's just not the venue that I want to be in anymore.
When Pam Dumoff announced she was not running for office again earlier this month, citing harassment, she says some of the responses she got proved her point.
For example, and again I'm quoting, "Resign now, you stupid effing cow. Don't wait. Run and hide, libtard effing bitch. Good riddance, C-word."
She was not the only one who testified before this committee looking into harassment of MPs and staff on Parliament Hill.
Somebody once said to me, "I want to f you gently with a chainsaw." Imagine the violence, the thought of it even.
In fact, in the last 5 years, the people in charge of protecting MPs say incidents of harassment from the public have increased 800%. Not just online abuse. A man was charged with arson for setting fire to a Mississauga, Ontario Liberal MP's office 2 years ago.
Christia!
Yes.
And then there was this incident of a man following the finance minister and her staff at an appearance in Grande Prairie, Alberta.
What the f*** are you doing in Alberta?
To give you an example on threat behaviors towards towards the MPs, in 2019 there was approximately 8 files we opened up, and in 2023 there was 530.
The Liberal MPs both said they've noticed upticks in the hate they are subjected to whenever some Conservatives take to social media to accuse them of corruption, something Conservatives at committee pushed back on.
I have been on the receiving end of what you have described, but what your members have done. So what we can't get into when we're talking about solutions is pretending that one party is above scrutiny. You wouldn't suggest that the Prime Minister is directly responsible for the harassment I've received, would you?
I've been trying to stay above the fray because I'm not getting into whether the opposition leader or the Prime Minister. I mean, if you want to go there, we can.
The Liberals are suggesting an online code of conduct for MPs. The Conservatives, amendments to the criminal code to restrict bail for serial harassers. Neither side is fully sold on the other's proposal. Though while parties acknowledge the problem, they don't seem to be seeing eye to eye on a solution, at least not yet. Rafi Boudjikani on CBC News, Ottawa.
There are updated guidelines for breast screening in Canada. A national task force is not recommending mammograms for women under 50 who are of average risk. That differs from the recent advice from the Canadian Cancer Society that testing should begin at 40. As Shoshana Reid reports, it's sparked a fierce debate in the medical community and beyond.
Strong words from Canada's health minister about new draft recommendations for breast cancer screening.
I'm concerned and I'm disappointed.
Adding, he's asking for an additional review by the chief medical health officers from across the country.
The guidelines that have been released by the task force simply stated don't conform with the conversations that I've had with experts across the country.
The Canadian Task Force on Preventative Healthcare says after a thorough review of research and data, they don't see the benefit in lowering breast cancer screening to women under 50.
We recommended against systematic screening because the harms are big and the benefits are small.
Some of those harms, they say, are unnecessary tests or biopsies and anxiety for individuals who may not have cancer in the end, but added that for patients who do want a mammogram, they should be allowed.
So if they choose to be screened, they should not be denied access. That should be provided to them by the provincial screening programs.
Currently, it's a patchwork system across the country. Some provinces and territories have moved to offer screening earlier. In Yukon, British Columbia, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, PEI, and Newfoundland, women have access at 40, and Ontario will start this fall, while Alberta and Northwest Territories start screening at 45. The rest of the country has stayed at 50.
It makes me angry for all Canadians. Where we live in this country shouldn't dictate our access to the standard of care of medicine.
2 years ago, Fernanda Dominguez Perticaris pushed for a mammogram at age 49, despite her doctor saying it wasn't necessary. 1 month later, she was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer. She had surgery and multiple rounds of chemo and radiation.
If this had been caught even earlier, had I had a mammogram a year earlier or 2 years earlier, who's to say that I would have needed chemo at that point?
The draft guidelines will now be up for public consultation for 60 days and possibly longer if needed. Shoshana Reid, CBC News, Toronto.
As Canada aims to build more homes to help tackle the housing crisis, there's a new push to use material called mass timber. Some advocates say it's a more eco-friendly option that's cheaper and faster to use than concrete or steel. Paula Duhacek reports.
This Edmonton factory is making glue-laminated timber, or glue-lam, a type of mass timber that can replace beams made of steel.
So, how's business these days?
Well, business is booming.
So much so, the company is building a new 155,000 square foot factory.
We are filling capacity slots about 10 months out from today. So yes, the phone's ringing off the hook.
A growing interest, but still relatively rare. An RBC report says mass timber accounts for just about 1% of North American building materials, though building codes are changing to allow more of it. Some provinces will allow up to 18 stories, the height of this student residence at the University of British Columbia. Developers like mass timber because it comes together quickly.
For example, our building on 5 here at Ontario and 5th in Vancouver was erected in 12 days.
Proponents say it's also more eco-friendly than concrete and steel.
Wood is the lowest carbon building material available.
We're not saying we're eliminating concrete. We're not saying we eliminate steel. We need those things to work in concert with wood to create these safe, affordable, low carbon, net zero buildings.
Still, uptake of mass timber has been uneven across the country, and some builders are reluctant to switch. Plus, some researchers say if we want to protect the environment, the last thing we should do is cut down more trees.
The most valuable thing we can do with forests is to leave them standing and growing.
Environmental debates aside, there are also practical considerations. The pull of doing things the way they've always been done versus a new approach that promises to build homes faster. Paula Duhacek, CBC News, Edmonton.
Okay, Ryan's been teasing us off camera with the viewer pick tonight. I'm kind of excited.
Yeah, and it's a term I've never heard of. So.
Yes, this is a mirage, but not just a regular mirage. This is a superior mirage. So have a look at this as we zoom in. This one was taken not far from Peggy's Cove, just off East Dover. And as we look out, you can see.
Yeah.
So there's the ship, but then the ship riding on top of itself based on that mirage. So a superior mirage is when there is a temperature inversion. So the air below the line of sight is colder than the air above it. There's a kind of a warm pocket of air above, or at least the temperatures are warmer aloft. So passing through the temperature inversion, the light rays are bent down, and so the image appears above the true object, hence the name superior.
You're such a teacher, Ryan.
So well, there you go. Thanks to Brian and Pat for snapping this fantastic picture. You can see temperatures certainly a little cooler tomorrow in the north and east. Will range from 12 to 16 across Cape Breton, 16 to 20 across the mainland. Watch out for those northerly winds with those isolated shower chances. Isolated shower chances on Saturday as well. Again, 12 to 14 across a good portion of Cape Breton. Will range from 14 to 18 on the mainland. And then for Sunday rather, will be temperatures right around 16 to 20 degrees. So a little bit warmer. Cape Breton showers certainly into the afternoon, but overall not a bad little 7-day forecast there.
Looking all right. Okay, thanks so much, Ryan. That is it for us tonight. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Good night.
Good night.